So before this new transition, I was literally in a customer service role. I was not even in Agile completely. I was shadowing a couple different teams at the company I was with at Aetna, CVS. I was in healthcare, not in banking or insurance. So I was far away, to say the least. I really set my mind on the fact that I was a Scrum Master and I was going to make it happen. I just run into a lot of trials at the time. I was getting to the point where I was just trying to reach out to anybody that I could, and there were days where I was sending 150 messages a day to people on LinkedIn, just trying to get connected and find the right people to get me in the position that I wanted to be. And I knew I needed to change who I was around and who could help me get to where I was. I didn't know enough Scrum Masters. I didn't have enough connections. And I was super skeptical at the time. I was like, a career coach? I'm like, who even hires a career coach? Why would I need a career coach? What can she do for me? But, she sent me over her profile. We set up a meeting, and, the rest is history now. I think I had the same concept a lot of people have about like therapy, right? Well, I don't need a therapist. I don't need somebody to tell me what's wrong with me. I can figure out what's wrong with me. I know what I need to do. This is extra money. They're just trying to take your money and do whatever. There's specific jobs and places for reasons, right? Like I did not know how to get to where I was. And the same thing with therapy. Like a lot of people say, yeah, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but until you actually find those triggers, find what you need to fix what it is, you're probably going to continue to, suffer through whatever pain or sickness you're going through. And this was the same thing with me. I didn't know how to tweak my resume correctly. I didn't know what to say in an interview. I didn't know who I needed to reach out to, who that can get me into the position to know how to speak like an agile coach, speak like a Scrum Master, speak like a release train engineer, and not to really put me in position to make that happen. Yes, I'm a charismatic person generally. I have the gift of gab, so I can talk to people, but I didn't know how to curate my message to what would create a response or elicit a response from the interviewers, that they could find a connection between me and them. I would encourage you, if you don't have a career coach, definitely take time, find one. It will take you over a lot of coaches might not be as, even basketball players, most coaches aren't better than actual basketball players, but they need them. Any sport, they still have coaches or someone there beside them because they need somebody to keep them on track and guide them. So this is no different. Your career is no different from any sport.
What's your one takeaway in this whole process of working with me?
The biggest thing for sure that I learned from you, Nada, that really set me up was to reflect on who you are as a person. I really take the time and see how everything that you do, and no matter what the career is, even if it's not exactly the same job that you're applying to, you can apply it in some way, shape, or form, something that you did to create a experience or a response to anything that can be thrown your way. Like I said previously, I had no real agile experience outside of the shadowing opportunities that I had at my last company, but I've had leadership roles through the military. I served in the North Carolina Army National Guard for 5.5 years. And that was my first real experience having to be agile all the time. A mission will come up, and a very similar situation to agile. I gave her a couple different stories, and she created what ended up being the best opener that I could give to any interviewer that I encountered. And every time over the course of like 2 months, I got 3 different offers and I was a top candidate. Like she really pushed me like I hadn't been pushed before, and really helped me write out the responses that, like I said earlier, could elicit those reactions from those interviewers and create that connection. So you really helped me bridge that gap and understanding how my experiences matter in anything that I do. And I mean, I couldn't have done it without you. Like that really set me apart, I think, from the competition. The difference between just answering a question and giving a specific example of how you've done certain things in your career and how it applies to the questions that are being asked. And that was excellent. That was awesome.
Oh, you were also a lot of fun to work with and trusted the process. And that's why this whole thing worked.